creative.
Ooh, is it my turn now?
And now it's time to start the show.
What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Winston Ward.
And your girl Ashley is here with the Rise of the Creative Quarantine Edition again.
Quarantine. What is this, the second quarantine episode?
This is our second quarantine episode. Me and you must never part.
Oh man, but we're coming back at you guys today to speak about something very, very serious.
Yes.
Today we are creating your State of the Union.
Amen.
Before we get into this episode, I'm going to read the creative quotes, and then Ashley has a statement that she needs to read. So I'll read the creative quote first. It's from the powerful Malcolm X. The quote reads, "A race of people is like an individual man. Until it uses its own talent, takes pride in its own history, expresses its own culture, affirms its own selfhood, it can never fulfill itself."
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, Ashley.
Wow. So, as creatives, this is our time. This is the renaissance that is going to mold our future. This is our creative renaissance. It is upon us right now. This is the time where we created our Langston Hughes, where we created our James Baldwins. This is that time. This is the Black Revolution. Our music, our words, our paintbrushes, our mediums are all needed right now. This is our time to uplift and raise our community through awareness from our art. It is traumatizing, to say the least. And the world is just now seeing what Black people have been saying for hundreds of years, is that I can't breathe. And this has been such a, I can't even describe it. It has been so traumatizing, to say the least.
Yeah.
What we have been seeing, what we've known the whole time. We've seen it. We know people who've been through. We might have been through it ourselves,
Right.
and now the world is seeing it.
Right.
And I really believe we're in our own revolution. Like, this is like, it's powerful. Like, we in a transition. Black people are in a transition. This is our next phase.
I
Like,
completely.
you thought we was popping before? It's about to be over. It's about to be over.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's great that you say that, because at one point it's low key traumatizing, but on the other side of the spectrum, it's very kind of uplifting to know that,
Yes.
we're transitioning. We're moving from a place of oppression to a place of liberation, and that is what I hope for through all of this, through all of these expressions, be it protesting, or be it just the Black Squares, or be it all of these other things that we've been doing collectively as a people. So yeah.
As we get into this podcast, I want to talk about something. Oh, we're going to hit a lot of very important points. But the first point I do want to hit is mental health awareness.
Yeah.
I feel like as a generation, as a people, we have PTSD.
Right.
I should not be numb from watching videos of my people dying.
Right.
I should not be desensitized to that.
Right.
That's traumatic. It is heart-wrenching. It is a play on your psyche.
Right.
Although we scroll through it and we pass through it, oh man, that's so sad. That's playing into your psyche. That's playing into your mental awareness.
Really.
How do we process another event?
I think like you were saying, it's almost, because we've become so desensitized to it, it's almost like it's normal. Like, oh damn, like
Right.
he died. We'll say R.I.P. for like a couple of days or maybe even a week, and that's it. You know, we're moving on to the next thing because we've become so desensitized to it. We've become, as you said, so numb to it. So I feel like but what I will say is, in light of recent events, I feel like we have finally put our foot down and said, you know, this is enough. And what I commend us Black people for doing is finally taking up and is finally stepping up and making that stand with saying, you know, this is enough. We're going to protest or riot or do whatever until you understand what we've been trying to say for however many years. So
right. But how do you process all the information that's coming at us? We have been in, I know I have been in information overload. You want to donate, you want to stay active, you want to click the links, you want to sign on petitions, how do you process all of this information at one time?
Yeah, it's hard. I think for everyone it's going to be different, but for me, I think what helps is just detaching. There's times where I'm on Instagram just scrolling, and I'm just like, yo, this is too much. So I'll put my phone down for maybe an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. Like, you know what? Like,
right.
Because nowadays our timelines are just full of it. You know, whether it's like showing riots in the Bronx or police sirens, as you can hear right out here, or protests or more people dying, or just reposting the George Floyd video over. It's just, like you said, it's a little overwhelming. So I think the most important thing to do is just to know yourself and understand when you're feeling overwhelmed, and just know when to detach.
What are some of the signs we should look for when we're ready when we need to reset?
I think it's that feeling that you spoke about before. I think it's once you start feeling like angry or feeling extremely emotional about you know, what you're seeing, it's time for you to detach, because it's starting to set into you. And to be honest, it might be a good thing for you to be angry, but it could also work against you, because obviously we're talking about mental health. So it's, you know, you kind of have to like kind of just know yourself and just understand, like, all right, when is this too much? When is it okay for me to be angry? When should I kind of like dial it back? What are some of the things that you do, like, as far as you know, when you feel yourself getting to that point?
Honestly, I'm torn in between wanting to be up to date all the time and know everything, and also needing to unplug, because this is insane. Like, this is it. Like, this is it. This is what we've read about in books. This is what we've learned. This is what we've been taught. And it's like, whoa, I'm in it. Like, I'm in the middle of it. And I just gotta put my phone, and it's hard to put your phone down. Like, all right, I'm gonna watch a happy movie. I'm gonna try to find something that's, you know, very lighthearted. I know but it's in the back of your head. It's like, damn, I need to do something. But you have to reset. Like, you gotta like de-scale yourself and just bring yourself back down to reality, and keep in mind that things are changing. I know we've seen a lot of negative things, and we've seen a lot of we know what's going on. We've seen a lot of different negative news, fake news, and a whole bunch of stuff like that. But there are some positives that's coming out of this. There are some changes. Our voices is really being heard. We're not in this alone as a race. We're not in this alone with just each other or seeing each other go through it. We have to keep hold of the little positive things.
Of course. And I think what is being birthed, or what I hope is being birthed out of this, is at least a plan of action, and not just, a plan of action. And I choose those words very, very specifically, because I feel like us, I wouldn't even just say us as Black people. It could be a lot of other races, but I feel like specifically with us Black people, when we get angry, or what we want to do is we want to protest or we want to post about it, and then a few weeks we forget about it. But I feel like if we come up with a plan of action, like a plan of what are we going to do when, this and this happens, or what are we going to do when this and this happens, and for all of us to kind of get behind that, I feel like that is going to be the X factor that kind of like pushes us forward, and makes this situation different from the several other other famous cases that have happened, such as like Eric Garner or other cases of police brutality.
Has social media been beneficial or harmful in your mental health?
I think it's both. I think it's been harmful because, as we said before, seeing just like a Black man or a Black woman just being either killed or just done wrong, it does something to you. And unfortunately, we've seen it so many times. We've become numb to it, or desensitized to it. But social media is also for other things as well too. There's people who I follow who's been doing like covers, or been like releasing music, or have released music, and for me, music is therapeutic. So, and that's how I stay up to date with my music, is through social media. So it's like a double-edged sword. Like I said before, I think you kind of just got to understand yourself and understand when it's time for you to detach, because if you don't do that, it'll do more harm than good. What about you?
I'm like you. I'm torn in between. I want to know everything there is to know, so I can be educated, so I can educate the next person.
Right.
But then it's also like, I can't keep seeing these images. It is not normal for somebody to continue to see death all the time. Every few weeks, we're seeing somebody new. And it feels like our circle is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, because as soon as it's going to start hitting home, it's going to be, wow, I knew this person who knew this person who knew this person who knew that person that just died on this video. Next thing you know, oh, that's my coworker's son. When is it going to be like our family next? So I kind of have to, I keep those images in my head because I don't want to forget their names. Because I would never want somebody to forget my name if something ever happened to me like that. So I keep those images as like a propeller to like move forward. What am I going to do? If this is my family member, these are my family members. I'm looking at these people as like, that's my family. Like, that's my cousin.
Right.
That's my aunt. That's my little cousin. Like, that's my, that's my big sister. Right. So how am I, Ashley, as a Black woman in America, how am I going to eradicate their names?
Right.
If nobody else does, how is Ashley, in my small little world, in my small little bubble, in my tiny apartment, how am I going to eradicate these names?
Right.
That's what keeps me motivated. So social media keeps those images in my head. Like, I know there's another one. I lost another cousin, but it's propelling me. It's teaching me different things. I'm learning different laws, and I'm learning different plans of actions, and different just straight facts. Like, not even being biased on either side. Just straight facts. Like, if you're gonna come to me with a problem, I want to know the laws and the real stuff that's gonna give me a solution.
Right.
So I can educate somebody else. Because even if I only touch one person, that one person know better, and they're not ignorant anymore.
Exactly. Let's see. What are some of the things that you've been doing to kind of take your mind off of what's been going on? I know that that's kind of a different kind of question. I know that a lot of people they don't want to hear it, but I feel like for our mental health, you kind of have to like really like
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you've been doing? It can be something like very small, or it can be something very big.
Honestly, I've been watching a lot. I'm always like this, but I've been watching a lot of positive Black TV shows.
Okay.
Living Single, Martin. I've been watching a whole lot of like just happy Black stuff. Like I just want to see positive Black images. I'm watching Family Matters, Girlfriend,
Yeah.
anything that's on TV that's positive and Black. That's how it kind of gets you. It just lets you escape for just a little bit, because I just need it. Sometimes you just need like a little tiny escape, just like
Yeah.
okay. And that's what I've been doing. I've been watching Girlfriends and Living Single and Martin, dying laughing. Like I ain't seen these episodes 152 times.
Exactly.
But still, it's just something to keep me like, because I can't cry all day. You can't, not that you can't dwell on it. You can't dwell on it negatively all day, because it will seriously affect your health. You're gonna get a headache. Your shoulders start to get tense. You're not gonna be able to sleep. When you don't sleep, you lose cognitive skills, and it's like a ball, and it just keeps going. It's gonna get worse. Next thing you know, you can't eat when you can't. So it creates this. So you have to like stop, breathe, do whatever it takes to wind down, and then go and fighting. Take all that as ammo and go and fighting.
Yeah. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
All right, so we talked about our mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we need a plan of action.
Yes, we do.
And neither of us are lawyers or civil rights activists yet, or we're just in the community, and we see things
in the community.
Right. What can we do as young creatives? What can our piece be in this puzzle?
Personally, I think it, just to piggyback off of what you started this episode with, is action. You know, like digging deeper into what you do, like create. Create. You know, I feel like during the times, you know, back in the day, you kind of could tell what was going on through the music that was being, by the music that was being released. So what I would love to see, and what I'm even doing with just some of the artists that I know, and obviously the artists that we have here at Somu, is I am pushing them like, listen, speak up, speak about, you know, how you feel, you know, let's put that into some music, and, you know, let's let our voices be heard, because I feel like that is, number one, it's therapeutic, and number two, you never know who our music is going to help. So yeah, I mean, if just for the creative community, I would say our plan of action should just be to continue to create more and let our creations reflect our feelings currently.
Right. Let those be somebody's distraction.
Right.
And create something so dope in your Blackness that it attributes to your contribution to the society and to the Black culture. Like, just be so unapologetically yourself in your Blackness, in your whatever subcategory you are in your Blackness, whether you're Black trans, because that's another thing we need to talk about. You cannot advocate for Black lives and not include Black trans, Black LGBTQ, Black everything. The point of our lives existing is so we can be whatever we want, however we want, as many times over as we want. You can't, I want us to advocate for that. So do that in your creativeness and reach out and be somebody's distraction, be somebody's inspiration. You don't know, your picture, your painting, your post, your podcast, your piece that you wrote for this article can inspire the next generation. Like, wow, this 16-year-old read this article I wrote, and they became the next Sean King or, Michelle Obama, because that inspired us. This is, I said before, our creative renaissance.
Yeah.
Every Black uprising, there is a group of creatives that help propel the culture forward. And this is our time. Like, this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been preparing for. Like, this is it. Like, this is it. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I want to speak about, because over the past few days, we've been seeing a lot of people are protesting and going into the community, going out into other communities and kind of letting their voice be heard. But the one thing that I wouldn't say a little bit concerned, but the thing that I always think about are, what are some ways that protesters can stay safe while protesting?
I've definitely been doing a lot of my research on how, because they're not playing fair at this point, and we know that, and we see that. So in order for you to, because even peacefully protesting is not not that it's not working, peacefully protesting is still getting us violent results. So guys, if you are going to go out there and protest, which I hope everybody's out there stopping, please be safe.
Yes.
Still wear your mask, because COVID is still a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bring a backpack with water, snacks, stuff to, if you guys are tear gassed, make sure that you bring something to change your clothes with, because that stuff stays in your clothes, which can agitate later in the day. No contact. I read that was a big thing, that it can cause permanent damage if you get tear gas with contacts in. We're going to link a list of cautions and supplies and stuff that you should do to protest. The fact that we even have to say this to peaceful protest is beyond insane to me. But let your friends know who you are. Like, just be conscious of your surroundings. Be conscious of the people around you too. We're protesting to protect lives. We also want to protect the people that are around us. So just make sure you're being safe as possible.
Yes.
When you're peacefully protesting. Just be aware, but be out there, be loud, be strong, sing, dance, cry, laugh, meet new people, explore new cultures, because there's a lot of different cultures that are protesting with us. There's a lot of different walks of life protesting that see that an injustice to one is an injustice to all. So I want to embrace that. I want to just yes, thank you for supporting us, because we're going to support you.
Right.
And our struggle, I feel like Black people are at the bottom of the totem pole. And if we're saying we don't matter, this stuff can add up to you too. If they can do it to us, they can do it to you, no problem.
Right.
So I just feel just be safe. Oh my gosh. I would hate to hear that somebody I know who was truly peacefully protesting was maced or tased or tear gassed or hit with a rubber bullet because these cops are not playing fair.
Yeah. And it's crazy. They even I don't know if they maced him, but they maced the senator.
Yes.
Because
we all look the same to them. That's what it is. They don't care. They're not looking at who's who. They see a Black skin, and that's it. All they see is the color of your skin, and that you're in their way, and that makes you. I've been hearing that they've been trapping people. They trap people on the Manhattan Bridge. Peaceful protesters blocked off at both ends, stuck in the middle for hours. But we're peacefully protesting. You're arresting people that are peacefully protesting, but nobody can catch those looters. That's the gag. All of these looters and rioters that are causing all this property damage and destruction, nobody's catching them. Nobody see that. But they see these peaceful protesters who are honestly, wholeheartedly just walking for a cause. But all of these people just happen to be arrested. Nobody catching these looters.
Yep. And also,
that's again for another podcast.
The all of the media coverage is going to only the looters and not the peaceful protesters.
Oh my gosh. But this is a narrative we heard before. We know that they're gonna pick apart different things. They're gonna choose what's gonna sell. They're gonna push their agenda. But we know what it is. And if you're really for the cause and you're really for what we stand for and what Black Lives Matter is, you know that there are forces trying to take away our voice. You know that there's going to be people who's trying to sabotage your protest.
Yep.
So if you're logical and you want to find information, you're going to know that this is fake. When people don't want to see the truth in something, they're always going to pick apart the lies.
Exactly. Oh man, the thing that I love so much is that we as a Black people, we're so powerful, and to see the lengths that people go through to try to tear us down and how resilient we are, to be honest, it makes me happy because it lets me know that, listen, our power can't be denied. You know, no matter what, right? No matter what you do, because we're people of resilience. You know, so oh man, but
yeah. Woo! I got chills. Woo! Woo! All right. What power does our voices hold now? And what are we going to do with it?
I think now that the world is paying attention, our voice is louder than it's ever been. I feel like you see protests in Paris, you see protests in like all these other major cities around the world. I feel like literally everyone is watching what the Black people are doing, and it's time for us to really band together and come up with some solutions on what we can do to make things right in America for the Black person.
Yes.
What about you? What do you think?
I think that this boost in Black lives is giving us an opportunity to show, I'm not even going to say the world, because there's people in this world, no matter what kind of facts you give them, they're always going to have a negative connotation on Black people.
Always.
That's just what it is. You're not going to convince somebody in a Facebook post or a comment why they should be a part of Black Lives Matter or why this affects their life too. You're not. That's just what it is.
Right.
But this is giving the people who want to hear us and the people who change their minds, who have changed their perspectives and changed their ideas, it's telling them that we are here, we are dope, we come in different flavors, we come in different sizes and different things. We can do this. We are comic book artists. We are anime fans. We are K-pop fans. We are Black. We are queer. We are trans. We are this. We are that. Our movement is to exist and not die by the color of our skin.
Right.
Like just to exist. Like we are literally asking to exist at the bare minimum. To exist. I just want to exist in this life and have a fair chance and not be judged on the color of my skin, which you have no control over. You have no control over the color of your skin. I just want a chance at life. And people are really arguing and justifying why we shouldn't. And it's like, wow. So I gotta show you. I'm gonna show you through my creativity. I'm gonna be more educated. I'm gonna be more proactive. You're gonna hear my voice, and either you're gonna take it or you're going to be held accountable for your actions.
Exactly. And with that, let us go into what are some of the solutions that we can, I wouldn't say what are some of the solutions, but what can us as Black people and also creatives do in the form of solutions? Like what should we be looking for after justice? You know what I mean? Like if, like, let's say, because right now everyone is focusing on George Floyd. If after justice is given to him, what comes next after that?
I think the next fight is the next victim, because it's not going to stop. I really truly believe that it's going to continue to happen as long as people like this exist in the world where they think that they won't be held accountable. Mm-hmm. They're going to continue to do it. I think the next step is doing things that will hold people like this accountable, mm-hmm. as well as the institutes and systems that create this for it to even be possible. Is the dismantling, I think I said that right, dismantling the systems that created this problem. Mm-hmm. And that's voting, that's getting people in office that have your needs and have the needs of your community in mind. It's going out there and still protesting. It's still not going to be perfect, but we're going to have to continue to change so it gets a little bit better. And then we're going to hand that baton to the next generation. The same way our parents handed it to us, we're going to hand it to the next generation. Like, here, these are the tools. This is the strategy. This is what you do with it. It's just continuing, like just keep on.
What do you think history has taught us about the next steps?
History has taught us that our pain won't be in vain, and that our tears won't fall on just anything. That although there were so many casualties of war, that we're going to be victorious. We are. And it takes a lot. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard to see. I know it's hard to see the ending when you're in the middle of the storm. But I really wholeheartedly feel like after justice comes victory. Now, it may be small and maybe not what everybody wants, because it's not going to please everybody. Because if you leave it up to us, send him MF to jail for the rest of his life, hold all of these cops accountable, but reality is sometimes that might not happen.
Right.
And sometimes we just have to continue fighting. Like, I don't know. If I knew all the solutions, I would be
right.
I'll be a judge. Like, I'll be active. I don't know. But history told us that it does get better, that we do see a sunshine. It just takes a lot. Like, it's not going to be instant. Like, none of this is going to be instant. It's not going to happen in a couple of days. It's not going to happen in a couple of weeks. It is not going to happen in a couple of months. This is going to be years in the making.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off what you said, I think what history has taught us about the next steps, I think it has taught us that we need to stay vigilant, we need to stay consistent, and we need to not be distracted by some of the other things that may come about to distract us in this fight. I think when you think about people like Trayvon Martin or even like Eric Garner, I feel like there was a time where everyone was, radical, and then that sense of urgency kind of left, because of all the distractions that kind of came out. Now, don't get me wrong, it didn't leave for everyone. It didn't leave for everyone. Let me not say that. But what I think history has kind of taught us is that, or how I would want us to change what has been done in the past is I don't want us as a Black people to get distracted. I want us to keep hope, to keep fighting, and to keep being as vigilant and as consistent as we are in this very moment right now.
Yes,
You
I agree.
you were about to say something to cut me off.
I forgot. I did. I did forgot. I do pose a question. I asked my mother this a few days ago. How do you heal a nation? That's really big. Like that's a big
Responsibility.
That is a really big responsibility. I want to even bring it back down. How do you heal a community? How do you heal Black people?
I think,
how can we be healed?
Yeah, I think it kind of goes about it goes into what you were saying. I think by starting at a nation is kind of big, but I think you start community by community. Like let's speak about how we can heal the Bronx. Where you're from, like how can we heal Inwood, right? That's what they call your section, Inwood.
Dykeman.
We heal Dykeman. Even though I think Dykeman is kind of healed already, but we don't have to get into that right
We're going to talk about that too. We have to. I can't. We got to talk about that.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That could be another podcast.
You start with the communities first. Like, what can we do to empower our communities? What can we do? I know a lot of people have been, in my opinion, they've been angry about, a lot of the looting they've been seeing. Like, oh, you're tearing up your communities. But my only response and my only rebuttal to that is, although there may have been Black businesses that were in those buildings, a Black person didn't own the building.
Exactly. That's been my response too.
Exactly. So I think getting into our communities and having those kind of conversations, like, how can we as a community start to own what we have so that other people don't come in and kind of dictate what goes on in our community. I think that's where the healing process begins, with, ownership, accountability, and just love. The amount of love that I'm feeling right now, like on Instagram, and just in general, just from Black people, and just from people all around the world, like the amount of love that's just going around. I feel like it's at an all-time high. We're all just like embracing it. So I feel like it starts there, and we just have to just keep it going.
Yes, I agree.
Oh man. All right. So what have these past few weeks taught you? I kind of alluded to that earlier, just saying how, just realizing just how powerful we are. People are trying to tear us down, and we're still being resilient. That's one of the main things that I've learned these past few weeks. What about you?
It's definitely told me that I am a lot stronger than I think I am.
Yeah.
As a Black creative, as a Black female creative, watching my nation literally kill us,
right,
take us out one by one, it's hardening. It does. It makes you angry, and it makes you hate a lot. It puts a lot of hate in your heart when you see this. But I have to keep in mind that the same way we don't want to be marginalized as being all the same, I can't hold the same hate in my heart for every person that does us wrong. Counter to what I just said, we can't afford to have a few bad cops. The same way we can't afford to have a few bad doctors or a few bad lawyers.
Right.
And watching people justify a killing over an arrest, no matter what, I don't care what this human, I'm not even going to bring it down to being Black. I don't care what this human does.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
You should not die getting arrested.
Right.
And that's point blank, period. It has taught me that there are laws deeply, deeply, deeply rooted in our genocide. It has taught me that we are resilient, that despite being statistically lower, despite all the odds that are against us, despite people hate everything, like the world against us, that there are factors that are still lifting us up. That we are still we still got billionaires. We still are in the entertainment industry. We still dominate sports and finance and this and that, and we're still coming together, and we're still Black. I love that people's eyes are being open to. I gotta support Black-owned businesses now. I gotta support my Black brothers and sisters. I love it. We've been saying this for years, and people are finally waking up to it. We're like, yes, love us. We do. We do this. We do dope shit. We do. You love our culture, but you gotta love us too. Like you can't steal if we don't exist. You can't steal our culture if we don't exist no more. So it has taught me that we are just dope. Like I wouldn't change being Black for nothing. If I had to do it all over again, if it was an option to change, I would still be Black. I would still go through all of this. It's just dope. It's just like being it's like a dope ass fraternity sorority. Like nobody could get in. Nope. I just feel like so dope. Like we just the cool kids. I feel like.
You know what?
I feel like the cool kids.
You know what? We're gonna end it there. And we're going to rename this podcast "Creating Your Black Power."
Ooh, I like that.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we were talking about. That pretty much sums up this whole episode.
Oh, power, creating your Black power. That's fire. I like that.
Our power.
I like that.
We'll end it there. You can follow me on Instagram at Winston Ward Music.
I keep forgetting you changed that.
Yes, I almost forgot to. I was about to say the Ashley, where can they find you?
You can find me on my Instagram at ash_slays, ASH_SLAYSS. Be sure to follow the podcast at Rise of the Creative NYC. Be sure to follow this, listen, download, stream, do all that, share to your friends.
Yes. And we will list the link that Ashley was speaking about. You were saying something about resources.
Yes, about protesting.
There's another link that I also have to if you're arrested while you're protesting. It's like a list of different lawyers. Just share that with your family. It's just a master list of just resources that you can use during this time if you should ever need it. So we'll have those two lists in the link. And thank you, and we are out.
Of the creator.
Wait. What about now?
All right. Maybe the next show.